Bitcoin is recovering a bit after all of the drama that we saw earlier this week. The price is moving up a bit, along, of course, with altcoins, which are going crazy on the back of good news around the EverGrande story, good news around the Chinese banking system more broadly, good news from the Federal Reserve, interesting stories as well from all around the world to share with you in today's video. So make sure to stick around until the end to get all of the news. My name's Lark. Every day I make videos talking about cryptocurrency investing. So if that's a topic you want to stay up to date on, learn some more about, make sure you subscribe to the Lark Davis channel. Gently tap on the thumbs up button just for the YouTube algorithm. And if you do want to know when I put out a new video, you should also click on that notification bell and you'll get a notification from YouTube telling you that there's a new video out from me, which would be super awesome. Now, let's go ahead and turn over to the charts to get started off with today. We can see here Bitcoin has bounced very, very nicely out of our support zone down here around $40,000 to $38,000. It's kind of come up very nicely out of that. We do have a bullish engulfing candle on the daily here, so that's potentially signaling a strong reversal for the markets here, even if the price is looking a bit meh at the moment. Maybe we get a retest of $42,500 before pushing higher and getting some recovery, assuming, of course, we don't get any more dramatic news stories this week about the sky falling. But nice little pump here to see coming back up. It was definitely a pleasure buying Bitcoin at $42,500 and some more Bitcoin at $40,000 during this market correction. I still believe we are in a bull market. I still believe the end of the year is going to be absolutely crazy for the cryptocurrency markets, so accumulating a little more Bitcoin for my stack at these levels, totally fine by me. Next up, we do have to break, of course, now through all of those areas of resistance once again. So we gotta work our way back up to moving higher, breaking through, of course, $48,000 again, breaking through $50,000 again, breaking, of course, through $53,000 again. It's the game. It's the game. Don't hate it. Love it, guys. It's what we do around here. By the way, if you want to trade some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, some Dogecoin, some Cardano, whatever you might like to be trading, Bybit is the best exchange for longing and shorting a wide variety of different cryptocurrencies. Use the link down below to start your account over on Bybit, and you're going to get up to $600 in trading bonuses. So go ahead and check that out using the first link in the description. Now let's go ahead and get into the news, because there's some great news to talk about today. China has decided it is not going to let the banking infrastructure fall to pieces over this EverGrande story. So not only did we get the news yesterday that EverGrande was going to be able to pay its interest bills today, but also that China's central bank is injecting 120 billion yuan, which is about 18.6 billion US dollars, into the banking system after concerns over a debt crisis at EverGrande Royal Global Markets. Essentially, China's stepping in and saying, well, we're not going to bail out EverGrande. They haven't announced anything about that yet. They may let EverGrande fail. Maybe they don't want to set the bad precedent that the US set when they said, yeah, let's bail out the banks. You know, they've been gambling at the casino. Let's give them some more chips. China may let EverGrande go down. Maybe they'll announce a bailout. Who knows? But at this point, what they're doing is instead of giving money to EverGrande, they're actually giving money over into the banking system. So they're ensuring that the fallout of EverGrande doesn't take any of the lenders down with it. So that's, I think, a pretty serious statement from the Chinese government that they are not interested in letting the financial system come crumbling down. They're throwing money at the problem. Usually fixes most financial problems. So there you go. I think that's a pretty serious indicator for the markets that China is not going to let the EverGrande crisis become something that does turn into a global contagion event. So markets reacted very positively to that. Bitcoin went up almost as soon as that news was announced yesterday. Next, let's talk about the Federal Reserve. So the Federal Reserve could taper soon and also maybe get some interest rate hikes in next year. So This is what we learned today. The U.S. Federal Reserve said it will keep interest rates near 0% and continue to purchase bonds at the same $120 billion a month pace it has been doing, but the market now has clarity on how the central bank will start to unwind or to taper off its pretty seriously big stimulus program. Central bank's monetary policy said Wednesday in a statement that the tapering the bank's bonds purchases could be warranted soon because the economy has made progress towards its goal of maximum employment. So this is a really important thing. They're not doing it yet. Tapering has not started. We still don't actually have a definitive date on when tapering is going to start. It's just soon. They did say that they would hope that the purchasing program, the stimulus program that they've been doing, will have ended by mid to late next year. But we don't know when the tapering is going to start, when they're going to start drawing down that $120 billion a month program. For now, it continues. So the market is being pumped up to the tune of $120 billion a month by the Federal Reserve at the moment. They're also going to keep interest rates near 0% for a long time. They said most likely we're not going to see an interest rate rise next year. The interest rates may only be put up in 2023. Inflation staying high, so inflation around 4.2% at the moment, which is dramatically higher than the Federal Reserve would like it to be. So right now, tapering's not stopping until soon happens. Interest rates remaining very low, inflation remaining very high. That is a situation that bodes very well, I think, for the cryptocurrency and really the wider global markets with that kind of situation continuing as is. So more basically business as usual from the Fed. We're still just in a wait and see, coming soon to a Federal Reserve near you. So nothing big actually. This is obviously something the market had been looking at with a bit of anxiety, because when that tapering program does start, when they start drawing that down, it again brings in uncertainty into the markets. Markets don't really like uncertainty. They like certainty. They like to know that every month the Federal Reserve is going to do this. And sometime soon, they're going to start not doing that, which is also certainty, because when they do say that, well, they're going to start drawing this down, we'll know for sure what's happening then. But we don't have that yet, so still to be announced from the Federal Reserve. Next up, a Dutch football team, PSV, has confirmed it's now holding Bitcoin on its balance sheet. Just another in the long list of those buying and holding Bitcoin on their balance sheets as a way to get out of cash. This is really cool. I think you've seen actually a lot of interesting adoption by the sports industry of crypto more broadly. We've seen them getting pretty big time into NFTs. We've seen, players getting paid in some teams with crypto. This is pretty cool. Now they're actually going to hold it as a strategic reserve asset on their balance sheet. I like that. That's cool. And look, it's not going to be Tesla levels of purchases. It's not going to be MicroStrategy levels of purchases. But the fact is, it's another company buying and holding Bitcoin. Remember, there's only 21 million Bitcoin, max ever. About a third of those have probably been lost under the waves of time forever. Exchange balances continue to drop. Every time a company comes out, and even if they bought 10 Bitcoin, which they probably bought more, even if they bought 10 Bitcoin, let's say they buy 100 Bitcoin. That's 100 Bitcoin that's on somebody's balance sheet and probably not coming back to the market anytime soon, unless, of course, these guys are hard up for cash. They can always sell. They're not buying and holding forever, potentially. But here we go. Another company, another football team, somebody else getting into Bitcoin. I love it. Every single one of these stories adds up. Every single one of these stories has impact. Because there's a lot of football teams. There's a lot of small companies. There's a lot of different players out in the world who are going to want to have a piece of the Bitcoin pie, and there's just not enough pie to go around for everyone. Next up, a Brazilian investment bank, BTG Pactual, has announced the launch of a new cryptocurrency platform enabling their customers to directly invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum with the intention to launch support for additional crypto assets in the future. This is pretty big. We've actually seen some really big adoption stories out of Brazil over the last year. Remember, they're the second country to do a Bitcoin ETF, for example. Now we have a massive investment bank actually offering Bitcoin and Ethereum directly to their customers. This is awesome. We just keep seeing these banks adopting cryptocurrencies and starting to offer it to their customers. Now, I like this story more than a lot of the US stories that I cover because it's available to a broader base of their customers, whereas in the US, what do you see? It's almost always the case where it's just only the most elite of the elite customers are allowed to invest in crypto via the banks. But we're going to see the US banks also eventually offer it to a wider base of their customers as well. But here we go. Another very cool adoption story. Another big bank hopping on the Bitcoin bandwagon. Also, of course, selling Ethereum to their customers as well. Again, every single fiat on-ramp that comes, every time it gets a little bit easier for a new group of people to buy Bitcoin, to buy Ethereum, to buy other cryptocurrencies, it brings more money into the market, allows money to come into the market in a more easy way, and that helps lift the market up. What do you need for a bull market to continue? You need more money to come in. What's this story doing? Letting more money come in. Every one of these banking stories, letting more money come in. That's how we go to the moon. That's how we get our $100,000 Bitcoin, our $10,000 Ethereum, and beyond. The more money that comes in to get these scarce assets, the higher the prices go. And the final story for today, this one is out of Dubai. Dubai to allow Bitcoin trading within tax-exempt economic zones. Not just Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Now, this story struck me because what do you have happening in the USA right now? You have regulators just trying to crush, basically, the cryptocurrency industry. They're passing all these bad regulations. They're threatening lawsuits to everybody. They're going after users. They're passing stupid broker laws and all this stuff. Meanwhile, you have other countries that are trying to innovate and attract that business. The US is trying to push that business away, saying, get out of here. We don't want that innovation in our country. We want to find every single way we can to corral that, control that, crush that, make it less accessible to people. Meanwhile, you have other countries that are saying, hey, actually, let's do a tax-exempt zone where people can come and do crypto stuff. How cool is that? Dubai, of course, already has 0% taxes, which is why you see a lot of cryptocurrency influencers moving to Dubai because they want to get out of getting taxed a third of their income. So they're getting out and going to these low tax zones. But here we go. Dubai officially allowing tax exemptions for cryptocurrency trading within their tax-exempt economic zone. Dubai, of course, the UAE, not the only place in the world innovating when it comes to this. We've seen a lot of other countries offer some very favorable policies towards the cryptocurrency industry. France, I think it was back in 2019, early 2020, they were doing some great legislation to invite the cryptocurrency industry in. We've seen it come out of Malta. We've seen it come out of Switzerland. We've seen it come out of Singapore. Lots of other countries are happy to take whatever business the USA doesn't want. The only one that the USA is hurting by forcing developers out, making it harder for users, et cetera, is the USA and regular American investors. So there you go. Anyway, just my 2 Satoshis for the day. Your question, do you think the sell-off is over? Or is this just a bit of fake out before things get even worse? Let me know down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.